Sorry, Rena. I can hear good. Aloha, everybody. Aloha, welcome to our Thursday night class here on Kauai Island in Hawaii. Karma Kagyu Tupten Choling is the name of our Dharma Center, which means the offering place of the Buddhist doctrine. But I'm Lama Tashi. We give this class every Thursday night, 6 to 9. And tonight the class is about what it always is, healing, medicine. And so to set the theme for that tonight, and the practices we're going to do, which include one of the 5 elements practice and the medicine Buddha practice, and I'm also going to give the empowerment of the medicine Buddha. It was requested. I'm going to read from a book that was given to me by one of my students. A picture book of lamas, most of whom were born in eastern Tibet, which is on the border of China, and have been run out of Tibet by the Chinese and gone everywhere in the world. So this photographer and other people photographed these lamas, like here's the Dalai Lama on the front, you can see that. And got a little excerpt of teachings from them, which they put in, and then their background, a little bit about their autobiography. And it's not just one lineage, it's all the lineages are covered in this book. So this took many, many years to put together, but it's done very beautifully. So this Lama that I'm reading, this excerpt from tonight, is to coordinate what we're going to do with this class. And this Lama's name is Ayang Rinpoche. And it goes like this. He said, when you take Dharma teachings, it's for the purpose of practice. If you don't do any practice, then the teaching is not of any use at all. It's kind of like a sick person who has received the medicine from the doctor but who hasn't taken it. Just keeping the medicine with you won't cure your illness. The master is the doctor. The Buddhist teachings is the medicine. And we are all like sick people. We have 84,000 different kinds of negative thoughts. And these are included in what is called the 5 poisons: desire, anger, jealousy, pride, and ignorance. And all of the Dharma is based on these 5. You might think at this time I'm very busy and it's more important to me to work and get finished what I'm doing. Then I will do my practice. But after you have completed the task, there will be more work to do and more things to do and more things to think about. So now I must finish. We have to do practice every day, even if we only do a half an hour. It's through the practice that our negative karma can be purified, and in no other way. That was right there, right? Whatever tradition you follow that causes you to become more loving, kind, and considerate is a valid tradition. And loving kindness is the ultimate cure for every kind of affliction, symptomatic applications or cause of those afflictions. Loving kindness is combined in Tibetan Buddhism with what we call altruistic compassion. And when we talk about altruistic, we're applying this to every sentient being in the universe. All the animals, all the spirits, and all of the humans. And our universe is so vast that there are infinite number of each of those throughout our universe. We call these animals, humans, and spirits sentient beings. And all of them have affliction. And the afflictions are caused by the mind, and the mind is the boss. The mind, what you think, produces this universe. This is one of the reasons it's so important to learn to focus your mind, meditate, and use your imagination. So when we do this, what is it been going on inside starts to appear outside. And in this way, we affect our environment and the beings around us, the spirits that inhabit our body and everything, the animals that are in our body and everywhere around us, and the humans. So, taking into consideration that you and everybody else are in the same situation, you do your practice. If you want to attain a state of called enlightened awareness, then you need to have a guide. You need to have a teacher. And the teacher has to be qualified in what we call the nature of mind. Now, nature of mind isn't just the drama world that we're experiencing, how we see, smell, taste, touch, feel things, and then how we judge those things and then react emotionally to those things. Yeah, that's one nature of the mind. Everybody has that nature. And that's called the relative consciousness. Then in the same mind, there's an ultimate consciousness, which is none of that. Yes, you still have your sensual perceptions. Yes, you can still think. But in the other nature of mind, there's no judgment. There's no drama. That nature of the mind is the nature of the universe. And by connecting it to it through meditation and other methods, you move yourself in harmony with the already existing world and the beings within it. And that's it. There's nothing beyond that. So, with that in mind, and the teachings of the Lama Ayun, we're going to take refuge. And tonight, when we do the medicine Buddha practice, it's been requested that I give an empowerment. So we'll do that too during the course of this class. Now, when we start with refuge, we use this refuge sheet, which everybody has. At the top of the refuge sheet is called the altruistic motivation. This motivation is unique in the Buddhist tradition, especially in Tibetan Buddhism. So we're going to read that together. And then we'll read the refuge prayer in English and then the Bodhisattva prayer in English. These three are the basis of all of the teaching of all of the lamas, of all of the traditions of Tibetan Buddhism. In order to attain enlightenment, we'll read this together. In order to attain enlightenment for ourselves and the sentient beings, our mother, we now all together take refuge from prostration. We go for refuge to all glorious holy lamas. We go for refuge to all hymns and deities gathered in our mandala. We go for refuge to all the Buddhas, those that conquer the mind and gone beyond. We go for refuge to all this supreme Dharma. We go for refuge to all the noble Sangha. We go for refuge to all the doctors and Dakinis, who are the protectors and defenders of the Dharma. All of these possessing the eye of transcending awareness. To the Buddha, Dharma, and this supreme assembly, we go for refuge until enlightenment. May I, through merit gained from practicing the sixth perfection, accomplish Buddhahood for the sake of all sentient beings. I'm going to chant the first one to communicate this to the spirit, and then we'll in Sanskrit, and then we'll say the second, chant the second part in Sanskrit. Dadam Jovanam De Dadam Yampe Sanchem Sanche Dudine Junde Jisi Janshu Ninko Bachi Kibardu. Then we chant together the refuge. Aven Lama Dampa Nama Chakyu Chiya Yedam Chakori Aso Nama Chakyu Chiya Sanje Chom Dende Nama Chakyu Chiya Dante Kyam Nama Chakyu Chiya Tao Kanyo Sojum Sume Cho Esheki Shendam Rempa Nana Chakyu Chiya Sanje Chodam Choki Shodnam Ma Chenkyu Paril Gapi Chakyu Chiya Taki Jinso Kikwe Salam Ki Chola Tanchen Sanje Kilpasho. Everyone, I left out the line of the song, which is Aute Gendu. When we say Namla Chab Sucho, to this, each of these 6 lines, that means we all together are doing it. And when we say all together, that is a Buddha field. Whenever you have unity, that's an energy field that we say primordial. That's the nature of the universe. Everything in this universe and everybody in it is interconnected to you. And people don't believe that. And all of that, what we're talking about as refuge, is simply aspects of the ultimate nature of your mind that have appeared outside, according to each individual's propensity. And when we say propensity, that's karma, tendency. So if we say, what is karma? Karma is these tendencies that you created in past life that placed you in this situation this life. And you don't know these tendencies. You don't know what you did in past life. Most people don't even believe in past life. And so when we say karma, this means it's like a sub-energy field in your mind. And you know you have these tendencies because things arise out of your mind that you do that you don't know where those came from. And sometimes they propel you into situations you would rather not be in. Well, that's karma. But the way you interpret these is how do you deal with these tendencies? Some are negative, some are positive. When I say negative, I mean harmful. Harmful to ourselves, harmful to others, harmful to the environment. And those are the afflictions that are caused by the emotional programming and this liking and not liking. So if you say, I like somebody, right away you have an emotional problem with that person. If you say you don't like somebody or something, right away you have an emotional reaction to that. So that's the judgment problem. And we're all initiated into this program of judgment through birth and connecting with all the beings that are in our karmic energy field. But to deal with this, you have to retrain your mind. And when retraining your mind, you move into a bottomless program, endless, kind of like the web. You can't gauge the web. Okay? You can't gauge the universe. Macrocosm and microcosm, those are infinite. Your mind is the same way. When you start to move inside, you start to see your own program. And then you can deliberately weed out the harmful. But in doing so, you must put something in its place. You have to replace it. It's kind of like if you drink a glass of water, it gets empty, you got to fill it back up again. Well, the mind is thirsty. And these qualities that you're putting in place of the negative tendencies are not only appropriate, medicinal, but fun. You can start to really, get along with yourself. I call that fun. Getting along with others, of course, is fun too. So when we take refuge, we're taking refuge with our own mind, just as it is. So we said a lot of words here, like what's the Dharma? Well, Dharma is wisdom. What's Sangha? Those are people that practice wisdom. What is Buddha? Buddha is a mature human being. That's all. Man or woman. So they use the word Buddha. Buddha means somebody that understands what appears as nothing other than light and knows how to use the patterning of that light. And everything is based on patterning. Inside, outside. Everything you see through your iPhone, your TV, your computer, that's all programmed, patterning. So we're doing the same thing. To understand impermanence means your own situation. Impermanence applies to everything. Everything you see before you will disappear. Everything you see, smell, touch, everything you think about. Because the mind's doing that. It takes one thought, chews on it, throws it away. Disappears. Where the thought came from, you can't find it. If you say I exist, you can't find an I. If you say I have a soul, you can't find the foundation for that. But that would drive you crazy. What you need to do is ease up on this idea of non-self. And know that impermanence is a factor that we're dealing with in our own situation. We're a husk, this body, which we identify as who we are. It's not who you are. It's not at all who you are. But it's very useful. And it's here for a few months, few years, and you move on. Actually, you move out of your body, like a house you've been renting. When you move into the next situation, it's way different than this one. It's not solid, it's not fixed, and it's not permanent. This idea of self-fixed and permanent is an obstacle. Because even in the body, you're not solid, fixed, and permanent. This is made of light. This is made of atom. And your mind is controlling it. What you say is based on the patterning that you place within your body through your tendency, through your emotion. So your patterning in your body is dense from all of that emotional programming because it has to go through here first and then all of the secretions, whatever, are passed through every cell in your body. And that causes us, I'll use the word dis-ease, problem. So what we want to do with this programming, and it's nothing more than a program. And the reason we have this class is because there's so many different programs that every week this class changes. But that's because humans, each one to another, are different. They don't look the same, they don't act the same way. They have different inside emotional programming. But on another level, we're all the same. We're totally the same. We have five senses. We have a thought process, we think. We use this judgment program. We all have the emotional, I like this, I don't like that, or I'm superior, or I'm a lowlife. Those programs are instilled in us. And since they're programs, they can be transformed, negative transformed. Now, since we were talking about medicine tonight, and you're the doctor, You're the doctor. You're the doctor. Okay. Me, I'm like in the operating room assistant. Okay. Now, I was my own doctor. And my father was a doctor, but he was a different kind of doctor. But saying you're a doctor means that you understand that healing is necessary for yourself. So the Buddha institutionalized this 2,600 years ago in India. Now, India's a Hindu country, and the way that country was, when the Buddha took birth there, was from misconstruing the previous Buddhist teaching, which was there like 20,000 years before. So over time, it became, like, say, diluted, kind of like water. It became diluted, the original Buddhist teaching. And what happened is the Hindu tradition became politicized to the point where they had a caste system. The caste system doesn't understand karma. So they had Brahmins, householders, and merchants. They had these different castes, warrior castes. That's where the Buddha was born, in the warrior caste. And then they had the outcasts. Well, in India at that time, the outcasts were half the population. So you had one half was the good guys, and the other guys were the slaves, did all the grunt work. So that wasn't appropriate. So the Buddha comes along and says, okay, you're doing great, but this is the way it should be, according to my thinking. So he just walked around northern India and gave these teachings, and he had no place in mind. And according to the conditions of each area he went, he gave certain instructions. But whatever that was, in those days, they didn't have any way of recording, so they memorized it and passed it down, teacher to disciple, down to the present day. Well, whatever that was going on with the Buddhist teachings is now what we're doing today. So this tradition is valid, and that programming passed down that way has power. And the power comes from your own mind, of these hearing what the teacher said, like going to a store, take out what you can use, what you can do for practice, and become a loving and kind person. And if a tradition doesn't have that 100%, and in any way, shape, or form says that harm of any kind is okay, that's not a valid tradition. Oh. For mind training, I'm adding that. It's a valid tradition according to everybody's position. But for mind training, it's not appropriate. So, we're going to start the mind training program tonight with the 5 elements meditation. And when we say 5 elements, we know that these 5 elements scientifically actually create everything. Everything that you sense. So they are earth, which we use this symbol, which is a 6-sided cube. Water, which we use this symbol, a blue sphere. Fire, or radiation is a better word, when we use the 4-sided pyramid, similar to the ones in Egypt. Air is a symbol of a half sphere of green light. And space is a sphere, white light. Now these color codes, and that's what they are, codes, and these geometric figures are set up so that you can learn to focus and feel yourself right off the bat on the relative level. So it's a symptomatic form of medicine that can go along with any symptomatic form of medicine on the planet. For instance, Abby does massage, so she uses this kind of programming and corresponding with massage, acupuncture, herbology, whatever. So this is the symptomatic approach, and it's valid because it doesn't need an empowerment on its transmission. It can be taught by anybody, it can be practiced by anybody, and just as it is, it works. So tonight I'm going to pick the air element, which is this half sphere shape, like a bowl with a lid. And it is also called gas and all kinds of, when you get into the depths of radiation, and they have plasma and so forth. Some appears in our world, we're breathing it, and some appears out in space, it's cosmic dust. It's all the same. Some appears in many, many different forms, but it's a premortal substance, universal. So to use this, you sit with your back straight to start with. Hands on your knees or in your lap, your choice. Be like this, that's it. Head a little bit tilted forward, lining up the energy centers within chakra. Mouth closed, tongue resting against the palate. And eyes slightly open, focusing on the space energy of light, arm's length in front, so about 2 feet out in front of your eye. Not too close, and don't focus on an object. Then, with these 5 positions in place, you simply bring your focus, your awareness to your breath. As you inhale the air, you visualize it, imagine it to be white light filling your lungs. The middle breath, which is called the absorption breath, is spontaneously extracted from the elements and passed through your body. As that happens, you visualize the energy flashing through your body as red light. Then you combine these two and exhale out your nose, visualizing blue light to space. Inhale white light, fill your lungs. Absorption breath through your body, visualize red light. Exhaling out your nose, blue light to space. With this practice, 3 things are accomplished. 1, you're focusing your mind. 2, you're using your imagination in union with your focus. And 3, you're starting to move into a state of calm abiding. They say peace and tranquility. Removing yourself from the worldly activities of the day, you become settled. When you reach this stage of the practice through this breathing technique, then you take your focus off your breath and combine the 3 color codes, white, red, and blue, into one, and shrink it to a particle, and imagine that is centered right in your heart chakra, right in the middle of your chest. In this way, you connect to the basic energy of the universe, which is the infinite light throughout boundless space. And actually, there's no meditation. You just contemplate the life force energy throughout space. Then this becomes the foundation for your practice. And again, you bring your focus and imagination together on the particle, having created an energy center within what we call the heart chakra. You visualize it to grow in size until it creates a small sphere of clear light, pure energy. Which is the nature of our phenomenal world. Keeping your focus and imagination together, you expand that sphere until it creates the half sphere of green light. Label it air. And that half sphere of green light is about the size of your thumbnail. Right in the center of your heart chakra. Then you visualize it to move out in front of your body and up before your eyes, 2 feet in front. Then you imagine it to grow in size until it's so large you can see your form sitting inside, just as you are. Receiving the life force healing energy of your own mind. Then you share it by expanding it in size to completely enclose this island of Kauai and surrounding ocean, or the area of town or city where you live, inside. Then you expand this symbol to completely enclose Mother Earth, including her air atmosphere. Then you expand this healing energy program to completely enclose the solar system, an area of billions of miles in diameter. Then with your imagination, expand it to completely enclose our spiral dish-shaped galaxy. Then move beyond your conceptual mind by visualizing it to expand or merge with boundless space. At this point, you're beyond conceptualization, so no meditation. Just contemplate the infinite light of boundless space. Then return with your imagination and focus together, and again invent the half sphere of green light labeled air to enclose the galaxy. Reduce it in size to just enclosing the solar system. Smaller yet to just enclosing Mother Earth. And very much smaller to just enclose the area, town, city, island where you live. Then reduce it to the tiny symbol of the half sphere enclosing your foreign body, so that all the life support and life force energy is psychically applied to your situation. Finish the practice, bring the sphere to its original size, 2 feet in front of your arm. See it there. Bring it to chest level and into your heart chakra. Shrink it in size, gradually smaller and smaller until it again becomes a small sphere of clear light. And smaller and tinier until it again regains the symbol of the particle. As tiny as you can imagine. An infinite microcosm of space. No meditation. Simply keep your focus to the present moment. To finish the session, bring your awareness in front of your eyes and spread it into this place of practice. Smiling's okay. The simplicity of this practice makes it appropriate to teach to any age group. And it actually is being used in schools and universities everywhere. But the real appropriateness is as you become your own doctor. You know, I went in for a blood test today because I have to, because I have Medicare. But That doesn't help. It doesn't show me anything. You know, they'll take that blood and say, oh, you got this and that and this and that going on. And because I'm 81, you have to come back and see the doctor, and he's going to tell you about this and that, and this and that. That has nothing to do with healing. That's a symptomatic approach, but they don't have a clue. They're guessing. You know, when you apply symptomatic medicine of any kind, you test. You know, we have acupuncture, acupressure, all kinds of. When we perform this kind of symptomatic medicine, we test the person that's using the method. And one of the simplest ways to test is muscle test. Just see how strong they are by holding these two fingers together. Then ask them, did this work? Or do you need more of this? Or how much? Well, you must. In other ways, you can stick your arm out and push down on it. Okay, and then you know how strong the person is. And you say, tell them to resist. And then if they can't hold their arm up, you can push it down easy. Well, that means whatever medicine you're using doesn't work. No healer is a healer unless they can test their effect, whether it be symptomatic or causal. Now those two, only one is taught on this planet, symptomatic medicine. My dad was a doctor. And he put it this way: if they get well, they lose money. If they die, they lose money. So it's my job to keep them somewhere in between healing and death. And he's a surgeon, so he was really had to be honored. But for us, this symptomatic approach, you have to test. Is this working for you? Are you becoming more and more kind and considerate? Are you still harming yourself, harming others, and harming the environment? That's you asking you. That's you testing you. And all of us want to be happy. You know, even the most crazy, insane people, they all want to be happy. Maybe their methods to happiness is inappropriate, but because of this tendency and their karma, they only find happiness as sadness. They find happiness as suffering. You know, no matter how much they give, no end in sight, never enough. But what do you do about that? That's a universal situation. Everybody's seeking happiness, but only finding suffering. What do you do about that? You cannot help them. You cannot say, okay, now you're going to be happy. Oh, you came to this class, so everything's okay. You listen to Ramadashi, no problem. I don't think so. Now, when we're talking about symptomatic approach, that's all tradition. Okay? Does not treat the cause of the suffering or the pain. And the cause is inside. Every individual's cause is inside of their suffering. Therefore, they cannot blame their suffering on anybody else. You know? You can't point and say, oh, you caused me to be happy. Or that group over there causing me trouble. No, you can't do that. You put yourself here. Yeah? So who has to be responsible? Mom and dad are gone. They're helpful. You. And when we say causal, you have to know that the cause of your pain and suffering is so simple that it can be explained in a very small way. And that's the idea of an I, a self, or a soul. Existing separate from everybody and everything else. Oh, that's ignorance. That's absolute stupidity. And when I say absolute, I'm applying it to the absolute level of infinite proportion. And from that fundamental idea, and it's simply an idea, a program, you see something or you hear something. Usually this is the two ways we first connect. Maybe touch. That's infinite. You immediately judge it. You have this program, it's in place. I like that. As soon as your I, which doesn't believe that that is part of his program, that the mind created that, as soon as you say I like it, then attachment arises. As soon as you say you don't like something, then aversion arises. What's the problem with these simple ideas? I like this, I don't like that. They escalate. As soon as you place them in your mind, they start to grow. Like you put a seed in the ground, it grows. It's a karmic predisposition. And a little thing like attachment, oh, I just like that. You know, I like chocolate. It starts to become needier and needier and needier, and then it becomes desire. I have to have it. And then that grows and grows, and then it becomes lust. Now we got 8,000 people, 8 million people, going to 10 million. Billion. Oh, billion, yeah. Billion. Just because I like that person. Out of control sex. Unbelievable. Oh, yes, I should have 5, 10 kids. I'm going to a fertility clinic. Yes, I should. Unbelievable. Worldwide. And now, they say we've got to stop doing it. How are you going to stop 8 billion people from liking sex? No way. You can't blame them because they don't know. They're ignorant. They think I exist. Everything's separate. I can do whatever I want. I don't believe in karma. I can say anything and mess with the environment, do whatever. Yeah. Causal curing comes from cutting, first of all, the idea of the self existing separate. And 2, stop liking everything. You know? How are you going to do that one? You know? Chocolate.
What did you say, Ann? Greed. It turns to
oh, yeah, I didn't mention greed. That's a category in itself.
escalates.
Yeah, that greed is.
It escalates to greed.
Yeah, well, we have to put that in a separate category, which we do with the Almighty thing. But this idea of not liking, which is worse than not liking? Because not liking something starts to escalate and become anger. Anger becomes hatred. Or vice versa. Sometimes you get hatred and then anger. But the ultimate of this is war on yourself, in your environment, and the planet. It's the main game on Mother Earth. Just from judging it, oh, that's good, that's bad. But you have to go in there, in here, not in here. This program is set. Okay? You have to mess with the imagination so that you get hard connected, so that you know that everything is integrated to you and everything in this universe you're responsible for. now and forever. Ooh. That's what the lamas tell me. I got all these lamas, men and women, you know. I'm going to go up and hang with a whole bunch of them next month. They tell me, yeah, now and forever. This is an endless program. Nobody can do that. Nobody wants to be forever unless they're in a heavenly realm or on quiet and Princeville. Congratulations. Yeah. And then, well, this transition, you know, a lot of people think, well, I can get all these teachings from all these lamas, get all these empowerments, learn to do all this stuff, and everything will be okay. No way. Don't faith-base this whole tradition. This belief has nothing to do with it. Because when this body stops, you step out of it, all the beliefs in the world are not going to help. Because in the next venue program, it's a whole different psychic program. It's the spirit world. And you're going to be able to see, like we see on the web, millions of people at one time. When you go into the next level, you're going to see the whole universe essentially. There's no boundaries there. And you can move in that world just by mental. You can be anywhere in the universe in the snap of your finger. In the next one. How are you going to work with it? Well, I like everything. You have to have reprogrammed yourself so that you are the boss of your mind under that situation. And it doesn't matter what kind of sentient being you evolve into. You could end up in the hell realm, what we call the demonic spirit world, which is about 90% of our outer space. Okay. You could end up in the deprived spirits. You could end up in the war and war gods, which is the theme of this planet. Demigods. Okay. But not all demigods are war gods, but they're very powerful. And then we have the heavenly celestial realms, which is like a needle point. And then smaller, we have humans. Humans are so rare in this universe that it takes trillions of years to set up the circumstances for one planet to be livable. And all the conditions appropriate. For instance, this planet, we have to have a sun and a moon. Why do we need both? Well, you can't ovulate without the moon. And you can't have plants without the sun. Everything's got to be just right. Well, those same kind of conditions are the way you want it when you leave this body and move into the spirit world next. And then no problem. And how do you handle it? You just stop liking it. Just stop being needy. Relax. No matter what you see, relax. We're going to do that now. Sit with your back straight. This learning to relax programs takes many, many years. And for some, many, many lifetimes. Don't be in a hurry. Back straight, eyes in front, mouth closed. Hands and knees are in the lap, head slightly tilted. Breathe. We're going to use the same breathing technique of the 3 lights prana yoga practice, but we're going to add mantric sound. And by doing this, we move into the causal world of healing effect of Tantra. As you inhale the air, you visualize it as white light filling your lungs. and you hear the sound Om. With the absorption breath of the energy of the elements spreading through your body as red light, you hear the sound Ah. Then you bring these two together. Exhale out your nose, blue light to infinite boundless state. You hear the sound boom. Inhale white light, fill your lungs. Hear Om. Absorption breath of energy through the body, hear the sound Ah. These two together out the nose is a healing breath to infinite beings throughout space. Boom. Blue light to space. Your choice of blue. And with these three sounds, these three tantric syllables of the Sanskrit language, the first one is called infinite clarity. And this is applied to the elements you are breathing as medicine, and the mind you are thinking with as imagination. The red light is the energy itself, working, doing something, creating something, disappearing something, whatever. Just energy. That's the awe. Color-coded red. Then you combine these two and exhale out the nose, blue light. This is the healing energy of altruistic compassion applied universally. And each of these is an infinite Buddha field, energy field. Then you gather the three lights as you did before by taking your focus off your breath. And all of that program comes into the particle in the center of your heart chakra. And you move your mind to the first dimension of space itself. The infinite light of the boundless fabric of space. And this becomes the foundation of whatever method in Tantra you're going to use. Then you imagine that particle to increase in size to create a small sphere of clear light, pure energy. And that way you're entering into this three-dimensional situation, our universe. You expand that sphere, clear light, until it creates a five-colored sphere, which symbolizes the five elements and five states of practice awareness. Inside this five-color sphere, which is about the size of your thumbnail, inside in your heart chakra, you place the sound Om in blue. They say dark blue is best, but any color blue you like. And give it thickness, like a cookie. Then the hum in your heart center magnetizes the sources of refuge that you started your practice with tonight. The Lama and all the Lama's symbols. Since all the Lamas use the same program, they all are appropriate. You can have one in front of you or many. With your root Lama in front, life side, the same home appears, blue in color. And the Lama gives the transmission for your body, speech, and mind for practice by emanating 3 lights into you. From the Lama's forehead into you, white light comes into your forehead. And as this takes place, you hear the sound Om. This is the transmission for your body in tantric practice. Then from the Lama's throat, red light enters into your throat, from the Lama's throat to your throat. This is the empowerment, the transmission for your speech to become more appropriate, more powerful, and especially in the use of mantra. Then from the blue light in the Lama's heart center, from the seesaw of the foam, blue light comes into your heart center as a wisdom empowerment for your mind, transform to the stage of full enlightenment, maturity. Then you see all 3 lights shining simultaneously from the Lama's 3 places into your 3 places. In your head, a white Om appears in a white sphere of light. In the throat, an Ah appears in a red sphere of light. And in your heart chakra, a blue Om appears in a blue sphere. At that point, the Lama merges into you. Then you see the white sphere in your head move down and merge with the red sphere in your throat. These 2 together merge downward into your blue home in your heart chakra. With these 3 in union, you acquire the 4th stage of empowerment, which is understanding voidness and how to use it. Wisdom. And with this empowerment, you have received the transmission to be the medicine Buddha, your own doctor, and apply it to limitless sentient beings as a healing tantric practice. Now we take a short break. And that was the empowerment requested by
Milo.
Huh?
Is it Milo?
Okay.
Did you request that?
I did, I don't remember.
Oh, might have been someone online.
What is empowerment? Well, of course, it's based on devotion, respect, honor, not only for yourself, but for your teacher and everybody you have karma with. animals, humans, and spirit. But devotion is a base of, we say, the foot of meditation practice. Because without a strong connection to the teacher, the transmission which aids the practice isn't effective. And not only that, it can be dangerous because then the ego takes over and complicates the process, distorts it, which is what happened in India. And you can see how that's worked out to the present day. Not at all. Okay. And so this devotion aspect, being the foot of meditation, goes with the head of meditation, which is actually practicing, using your body, speech, and mind in connection with the advice or example of the teacher to acquire your own state of maturity. And everybody is already a Buddha at the beginning. Okay? Ringo's a Buddha. All the animals are Buddha. We know that, don't we? Yeah. Especially dogs. Dogs are closest to Buddha of all the animals. Cats are right up there. Dogs take care. Then humans, all humans, no matter where they are in the universe, they're Buddha. That's innate. It's in your mind. The nature's there. That's the way the mind is. That's the way it originated. That's the way it causes things to get better. But what's most important is the practice and the devotion have to come from here, not up here. This is not a university. You're not going to get a diploma. Okay, so what is the basis of the tantric practice that the Buddha passed on and now down to the present day? It's called Mahayana Buddhism. And Mahayana is bringing the body, speech, and mind into this idea that, yes, everybody's a Buddha, but you've got to nudge them to accept that fact so that they will act like one. And on the way, be honorable. Well, then we have a word for honorable we call bodhisattva. Bodhisattva is simply a person who has taken refuge with these words. Okay? And there's more on the back, and there's more endless, but that's enough. Okay, so now you say, okay, I'm a bodhisattva. That means you're on the path, or on the way to recognizing your own true nature. You're on the way to the end of evolution in the human condition. Because once you become a mature human being, you're not ordinary anymore. You cannot go back, okay, to being a shit. You just can't. That's what the practice does. It's a slow process. You got to be patient. We have 6 basic practices. Generosity, first one. Morality, ethics, and good manners is the second, which are world leaders who really need that. Patience is the third one, for yourself and others. And to take the time to do this. Then we have increasing. We have generosity, morality, patience, perseverance. Okay, with those first 3. But perseverance means that you're not going to do this once a week or once a month or just together when you get together with your friends in whatever country or culture you're from. Nuh-uh. You're going to take time out. You're going to drive a wedge into a 24-hour day and do practice, tantric practice, based on Mahayana ideals. That this practice is only for everybody else in the universe. Well, what about you? Well, there's a rule. That everything you do for everybody else, of course you're included. There's no such thing as separation. That's a big pill to swallow. You know, the Dalai Lama told the Congress of the United States, your thoughts create this universe. But he didn't say it that way. Your thoughts create your universe. Oh. So now we're going to do the medicine wheel. Now this is causal. Yes, it can be used with any type of symptomatic approach to healing. But it is going to cut the cause of all pain and suffering. And that's what all Buddha symbols. This is a Buddha. Okay? The medicine Buddha looks like blue in color and has a plant in one hand. Has a plant in one hand, which they use in India for all kinds of healing, physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual. Kind of like marijuana. They call it Myra ball. Okay. Then the other hand is a begging bowl full of nectar. Nectar of what? Nectar of the best of everything. Mentally, physically, emotionally, spiritually. The best. And so this one treats the mind, this one treats the physical affection. He's blue in color because the color code of our universe is blue. Now it isn't blue because we made it blue. It's blue because the water is blue. But all phenomena has reflective nature. You are a mirror. So in front of this, for instance, this Blanca, there's an empty mirror in front of that Chenrezig. That's Chenrezig, the Monty Penny. But that empty mirror is your true nature of your mind. Before the ideas, the thinking gets a hold of it. And everything that you take in, physically, mentally, emotionally, you're projecting it back out. Everything. But if your mind is clear, the way you project it back out, it's totally appropriate. Nice. Okay, so this is the medicine Buddha. So you're going to be this medicine Buddha. I just gave you the empowerment. I didn't give you the empowerment. Thousands and thousands of lamas and lineages that do this practice empowering you. Okay. When you do this practice, there's a mantra. So I put the mantra right here. Sajata Om Bikanzi Bikanzi Ma Bikanzi. Rasa Samagati Kati Soha. That's Sanskrit. And every syllable of that mantra has healing power. Yes, it means something. Sajata means gathering all healing energy together in one place. Om means the mind of clear light, clarity. Bikanzi, Bikanzi, Maha, Bikanzi means blue to the body, blue to the speech, and blue to the mind. And they say Maha, Bikanzi because your mind is great. Your mind is the boss. Then Rajda means anything that's appropriate for healing. Like $1 million. That'd be appropriate for healing. Maybe. Samangati means move into your true state, your Buddha nature. You don't have to believe you're a Buddha. You don't have to believe you're a Bodhisattva. You're just doing this because it's good for everybody else. That's a hard pill to swallow too. Because everything we do is for I, me, mine. No. Tantric practice is not for the individual doing the practice. Ooh. You got to keep a sense of humor about this too. Okay, so we're going to do this practice. This Buddha is the Buddha of 5 categories of Buddha nature, and that one symbolizes unity. I think that's the most important one because on this planet it's absolutely necessary to get the human race back together. Okay. So, here's how the Om works in Tantric practice. This is Sanskrit. And this Om is not the Sanskrit of the Hindu tradition. Okay, this is the Tibetan and the Buddha Shakyamuni's idea of Om. Ah is this red one, and home are these. Now, it's important that if you're going to imagine these, that you not only know the sound, but how these are visualized. And they're visualized in your three places, and they are in all of the tantric ritual symbols. All these statues, all this stuff that we use in practice, all has these three sounds. And this is the transmission code. Now we're going to do the practice. The practice is simple. First of all, you place yourself in a comfortable position wherever you are, in your car, at the beach, out in nature, tonight here sitting in this spot. You don't have to go to a temple or church or any of that. We do that, but it's not necessary. Breathe the three lights. Inhale white light, hear Om. Red light, hear Ah. And blue light, exhale the space, hear the Om. And see those three in your three places where you're doing it. Then connect to the Lama and all the Lama's symbols, deities, and protectors. We call them yidams. Either in front of you as the refuge tree or around you in space in vast numbers. The three lights from your three places connect to their three places, and you set up a grid. They take the light offering that you are projecting from your three places and return it to you from their three places. Then all the three lights condense into the heart chakra, and the transmission is complete because they all blend into you. Or the three lights all come into your three places, and those three in your three places form the home, all merge into the home in your heart center. Once you have the home and that return, you are the medicine Buddha. You simply abandon this idea of your body as you are inhabiting it and adopt the holographic image of the medicine Buddha, blue in color, dressed in the robes of a monk, male aspect, young, healthy, smiling, eyes open, sitting in full lotus, with the myrobalan fruit in the right hand and the medicine bowl in the left hand. As soon as you can see this 3D holographically, this tantric body, or the ultimate healer, your own self, then you project it universally to every kind of sentient being, to all the animals and humans and all the planets where they take birth, and out through the entire universe to the four categories of spirit. And they are equal to you. This causes the heart mantra to appear, and the mantra is sounded while you're visualizing the home. Your body is the medicine Buddha, and all beings throughout space equal, the same. Completely healed, physically, mentally, emotionally, and most importantly, spiritually, which translates into harmoniously. Then you sound the mantra Tadyata, Om. Bikanji, Bikanji, Maha Bikanji, Rajda Samangati, so on. In some cultures it's Tadyata, Om, Bekanji, Bekanji, Maha Bekanji, Rajda Samangati, so on. We're going to say Bikanji. Tadyata, Om, Bikanji, Bikanji, Maha Bikanji, Rajda Samangati, so on. Tadyata, Om, Bikanji, Bikanji, Maha Bikanji, Rajda Samangati, so on. Tadyata, Om, Bikanji, Bikanji, Maha Bikanji, Rajda Samangati, so on. Tadyata, Om, Bikanji, Bikanji, Maha Bikanji, Rajda Samangati, so on. Tadyata, Om, Bikanji, Bikanji, Maha Bikanji, Rajda Samangati, so on. Now, Om is the creation sound of the mandala of the medicine Buddha, which is universally applied throughout boundless space to all the beings in space. And this mantra is around that home. where you're visualizing the home and the syllables of this mantra circling the home, and they are stationary and facing outward. Every syllable is a different color, or they can all be blue. It's up to you. And this 5-color sphere encloses this all in your heart chakra. What does this do? This is the link. The mantra is the code, and your mind is the projector. So that's it, those three, the phone, the mantra, and the mandala of the medicine Buddha, which is all inclusive. Tadyata Om Vikanji Vikanji Ma Vikanji Vajta Samgati Soha. Tadyata Om Vikanji Vikanji Ma Vikanji Vajta Samgati Soha. Tadyata Om Vikanji Vikanji Ma Vikanji Vajta Samgati Soha. Tadyata 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 Vikanji Vikanji Ma Vikanji Vajta Samgati Soha. Soha comes from Sanskrit swaha. It means always increasing, expanding timelessly. So that's attached to the mantra at the end. Then the Tadyatha means the collection of all wisdom that's appropriate for each individual according to their need. Om is the sound of clear mind, clarity itself. We say clear light awareness. Vikanti, Vikanti, Moha Vikanti, 3 times is for the body, speech, and mind of the individual practitioner, extending that projection to all sentient beings. When we say Vajda, that means healing not just causally, but according to the symptoms of the individual or the group, however it's being used. Samangati means accomplishing outside of the drama mind. And Soha, putting it in the drama field to everyone and our environment. Our environment is a living being. Radyadam, Vigandi, 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 Vanti Samangati, Soha. Radyadam, Vigandi, Vigandi, Maha, Vigandi, Vanti Samangati, Soha. Radyadam, Vigandi, Vigandi, Maha, Vigandi, Vanti Samangati, Soha. Radyadam, Vigandi, Vigandi, Maha, Vigandi. 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 Samangati, Soha. So it was asked, how many times do you say this mantra? And does the mantra by itself do anything? Good question. This is a mala. We have la ma and ma la. This is how you count mantra. But why do you have to count? Because it takes a certain time, each in our own situation, for it to work, to be practical. But it also takes, in the practice, you're doing 3 things. You're working your speech as the mantra, the seed syllable as your mind, the creation symbol, and the medicine Buddha as the healing effect of those 2. Just like when you inhale, hold, ah, those 2 together create the effect of the form. It's also what keeps you alive, and it's also how you heal yourself. So this is an outward projection that goes to everything and everybody. To be able to count 108 of these, which is a recommended dosage, the subscription, is how many beads on a mala. So the first 100 are all the items we use in practice. Then 5 is applied to the antidote to the 5 emotional states: attachment, aversion, pride, jealousy, and ignorance. In each of those states, there's 20,000 plus, what they call it, conflicting emotion. Klesha in Sanskrit. Then the last 3 B's are your body, speech, and mind doing it. Bringing all that together. So if you do 1 round of these, that's going to take some time, right? How many of these can you do in 15 minutes? So usually about one round of this function. So after a while, you don't need the mala, you can use the handy dandy clock. So you set a little time for your meditation session, and you do 15 minutes. At the end of that 15 minutes, check yourself out. Don't believe this stuff. This is not faith-based. We don't do that. There's no devotion here. Only to ourselves, others, and the environment. There's no worship. We don't worship anything. This stuff is just symbolic. Okay, yes, it has healing power, but that's just the way we set it up. What you want to accomplish is bringing your body, speech, and mind into the same place, which you do not do ordinarily. Body's doing one thing, speech is doing something else or nothing. And your mind is like little kids. We got 8 billion kids on this planet. Where do we start? Individually, of course. Now we have maybe 800,000 kids doing medicine Buddha on this planet. Okay, 100 years ago, maybe 8. We're making progress. But that's all done on a collective program. So that means somewhere on this planet, some man or woman is going, we're doing it on the web, and all those people all over the planet that hooked into this program, We also use lassos. It's a grid, and it's effective. It's working. Okay, you can see the result. 21 million Dharma Center in Vancouver. That's pretty good result.
Wow.
For one person. What did that Chinese woman do? Medicine Buddha practice. That's all she did. I don't know what her affliction was.
Oh, that's why she put so many medicine Buddhas in the temple. 1,000.
Yeah, toleration to them.
Huh.
Very effective. That's like a llama getting a lottery. So when we do this practice, it's 2 stages. Do this creation stage with the Om, the mantra, and visualize yourself as the medicine Buddha and everybody else. The next stage will dissolve it into voidness. Yajadom Viganji Viganji Ma Viganji Vasasambhati Soha 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 Yajadom Viganji Viganji Ma Viganji Soha Yajadom Viganji Viganji Ma Viganji Vasasambhati 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 Soha Yajadom Viganji Viganji Ma Viganji Samgate Soha Sajadam Vikandi Vikandi Ma Vikandi Samgate Soha Sajadam Vikandi Vikandi Ma Vikandi Samgate Soha Sajadam Vikandi Vikandi Ma Vikandi Samgate Soha the recommended dosage for this practice is 111,111 recitations of this mantra with the poem and the hologram of the Medicine Buddha in place. To move to the creation stage of the practice, we simply imagine all sentient beings as the Medicine Buddha, your mother, father, lovers, friends, relatives, everybody, past life, this life, all the animals, all the spirits, dissolve into you. You become like an empty mirror, you disappear, the hologram you have created of the Medicine Buddha into the mantra syllables in your heart. Then starting with the Tadyata, the Om, etc., each mantra sound disappears into the blue home. The blue home and the five-colored sphere of light around it shrink to the particle and disappear into the voidness of boundless space. Relax. No meditation. Simply move your awareness to the present moment and keep it there. Whatever thoughts or physical perceptions you have are equal to that moment. Nothing whatsoever. Timeless. If you can, keep your eyes open, connecting to the infinite energy of the space and light directly in front of you. Allow your thoughts to arise out of space, present themselves, and disappear to where they came from. Physical sensations that arise to You're not attached. You become a no-drama lama. In this accomplishment stage of practice, three qualities develop. First, the quality of presence produces voidness as useful. The second quality is mental, and the clarity, the insight that develops. And the third is an experiential state of bliss, unexplainable, lasting bliss. And when you feel you've had enough of this stage of the meditation, return to being the medicine Buddha or whatever yidam practice you are trying to accomplish. And that's what you do post-meditation out in the world. Any questions? This is a picture of voidness, clarity, insight, and bliss. That's why this character is always going down the Dalai Lama. He's my teacher. Where do I keep my teacher? Right there. Well, now I've got one on this shoulder, and I've got another one, Lama Tenzin, on this shoulder, because he told me, keep me on your right shoulder. And I have some in here, or wherever it's appropriate. Because these characters, these men and women, lamas, both men and women in this book, they're always here. They don't go anywhere. You know, they leave the body. They don't go to any of those spirit realms. They don't do that. They don't become animals. What do they become? Human beings. First chance they get. Doesn't matter what planet. In fact, if they're really good at this projection game, which is what we're playing here, this is called the master game, by the way. They can multiply themselves to produce on any planet where there's humans simultaneously. That's a Buddha. That's the infinite potential of your mind at work. Because mind can think of everything. You got to watch what you think about. That's why practice is important. Any questions online? You have received the empowerment to do this medicine Buddha practice, and go take it slowly. And when you've accomplished 111,111 recitations of this mantra being the medicine Buddha, let me know. Give me a call. Whatever kinds of good action one is doing, either in this tradition or whatever tradition you follow, to seal that action, always dedicate the result to your mother's limitless sentient being. I'm reading from one Lama, Togden Amting. This is a picture of him. He said, the dedication of the merit of whatever practice you do is the end result of your practice. Because it is for the benefit of all sentient beings, this will cause you, in your situation, to acquire more and more positive action. And this will keep on increasing until you attain the state of human maturity called Buddhahood. In the same way that that the plantain, the banana tree, yields only once. One's positive action that is not dedicated will yield a very limited result. Once the karma of that action ripens, it will cease to exist entirely. But work, good action that has been dedicated to the benefit of limitless sentient beings never dries up. That's so hard. That always increases. Believe, not believe. So we start with the practice of taking refuge, which is also a very powerful spiritual practice. When I first took refuge, maybe a few minutes, Mama Kala Rinpoche said, here in Hawaii you have a lot of trees. A lot of you are farmers, gardeners, and you grow these beautiful plants. So he says, in our tradition, we use a tree coming up out of a huge lake or ocean. And he says, on the tree is a bunch of crows. They're called lamas. And there's many lineages of these teachers. So all the branches of the tree are full with these men and women characters. And in the center of the tree is your root lama, the one that affects you the most, gets you rolling. Okay? That person represents all of these. Then you have people that reach maturity, those are Buddhists. Then you have the people on the way doing these practices. That's the Bodhisattvas. And then you have the wrathful deities taking care of the healing, which is a Buddha activity. And then here you are down here in front. with mom and dad and all your relatives around this lake and all the animals and everything, making prostrations to these teachers. And in the sky around are all kinds of other men and women teachers. He says, that's what we do when we take refuge. We visualize this in front and we say the refuge prayer, and we make prostration. I says, does everyone use a tree? Nope. Just the 12 Kagyu energy. I said, well, what are the Nemapas? I said, they have a different lineage. Looks like
a bell.
Looks like a bell. With millions of lamas and men and women lamas in the bell. But it has the same theme as this refuge tree. So I always appreciated that. So when I first started practice, I didn't have a yidam. I just had me. But I could do prostration. So I take this and go to the beach and put it up against a tree, palm tree. Then I had my surfboard and my prostration board. And then look around, see all the beauty around me. Then I go like this. Fall in Lama, down by Lama, and I do that, get my workout, get my body going. Then I throw that board off to one side, grab my surfboard. I surf it. Now those two together keeps you in good shape. But also I found out that something weird was going on when I was out there surfing. I got more waves than everybody else. It was really weird. It was unnatural. And not only that, good quality one. You know what I'm talking about? It's hard to feel superior. So I told Lover Ritchie, who's my teacher, and he says, "Oh, you're doing great. It's good you're getting good waves. But you can't be arrogant about it. You got to work on that." I said, okay. After a while, I didn't have to take the refuge tree. I just take my mala and the nail, and I throw the mala on the ground, and I move the nail 1 V. I use the nail so it wouldn't blow away. And I do 108 prostrations, and I go to work, go surf. I'm telling you this because everybody has their own approach. Not everybody can go to the beach. So I have the inclination to make a little board and take the beach and do a prostration. So tonight we finished the Medicine Buddha practice with the dedication. And what we've done together here benefits limitless sensitive beings, and especially on this planet. And that all war, famine, disease, poverty, environmental destruction, the spread of toxins, and all this weird stuff that's going on, reverse, disappear, all of it. And we dedicate the virtue of having realized Mahabhuja, the void nature of our mind, and may we quickly establish all beings without a single exception in this state. We're going to read this together. By the virtue of having realized Mahabhuja, may I quickly establish all beings without a single exception in this state. With the blessing of the Buddhas who obtained the three kayas, with the blessing of the unchanging truth of the Dharma, and to the blessing of the unwavering aspirations of the soul. May this dedication prayer be fulfilled. My Kashi prayers, may all the lamas have long life, good health, happiness, and prosperity, and may all their wishes be fulfilled. And on this planet, may all beings be happy, free of pain and suffering, established in bliss and equanimity. Equanimity means emotionally stable. Tuchiche, mahalo. Thank you. Ewa di Nerduda, Chagya Champo Jujerne, Toa Chingzing Malo Pa, Te Salam Koparshan, Sanjay Kusu, Depai Jumada, Chone Negru, Depai Jumada, Kenin Niche Dupai Jumaki, Chita Gomon Homon Ju. Mahalo. And we'll go up. Thank you all. Cheers.